Here we go. So welcome to Microsoft Teams. My name's Jennifer Jury. I was an elementary education teacher for over 10 years before becoming a Microsoft Learning Consultant. Here is my email, Twitter handle, and LinkedIn. Twitter I like to stay active with. Microsoft is putting out a lot of new things. This week, Flipgrid has a lot of new things, so we've been putting out about that this week. So it's a great way to stay up on everything that is current with Microsoft. Today's agenda, we're going to look at meetings, recordings, we'll look at the feature ribbons, chat, whiteboard, some of the meeting analytics, and managing your meeting. We're going to look at the teams, creating and managing a team, chat activity, all the communication features, calendar, apps, and I'll show you where all the help features are in case you need them. So when you go into Teams, I'm going to bounce back to our Teams meeting first. And I just want to give you a tour around the team meeting that we're in before we get started. So if you look up here to the left, you'll see the red dot. That means we're recording. The time shows when the meeting started. It doesn't give when the recording started, but it shows when the meeting began. Here is all of the people that are in our meeting. And you can see here our participants. That gives you a number. And then here's where your management and permissions are. So if you're setting up the meeting and you're the owner for the meeting, you may want to have these established before the meeting begins. Today I did not have a lobby. I said everyone could bypass it. You could make it so only people in your organization or trusted organizations can bypass it, only people in your organization, or only you. If you do only you, that means you will have to let everyone into the meeting. But it's a great way to stop any unwanted people from joining. So always let callers bypass. So right now, because we have everyone, it's not necessary, it works fine this way. You can announce when people are leaving or joining. That is a feature you may want if you're in a class setting. And then who can present? You can set those settings here to everyone, people in your organization, specific people, you can list them, or only me. For ease of today, I put it as only me. So if we go back into our meeting, another great feature you're going to see is the download attendance list. So currently, you need to put this and download the list while you're in the meeting. But in the near future, they're going to have it so you can do it after the meeting. And what that feature does is it downloads an Excel file. And the Excel file has everyone listed by name, and then the time they entered the meeting and the time they left the meeting. So if you have to give reports to your district, this is a great way to do it. The raise hand feature, let me skip it over here. Chat feature. There's a lot in here. Now, different districts allow different features. I'm in a USMIE tenant, which means I'm part of Microsoft and I kind of get everything ahead of time. So I'm going to have a lot more features and a lot more access than maybe what your district has given you permissions for. So if there's something you see here that I have today, you might want to check with your district and see what the protocols are for requesting it. So for here, you'll see, I'm going to turn off my video just for ease of bandwidth too. I opened up the format button. I like that because it gives me all of those different options that you would see in a Word document and makes it really easy to type things out. You can also mark things as important or urgent to get people's attention. You can attach files. You have emojis, GIFs, stickers. These are always a big hit. You can customize them. Tons of fun stuff in here. Oops, clicking out of our meeting here. But as I said, you just check with your district. If it's something that you don't have available to you, maybe it's something they could add for you. So you'll see here too in the chat, this is where our recording gets posted that lets everyone know. Next feature is raising hands. So I'm going to go back to our people view, and you'll see people at the bottom. I'm going to see Wendy, Keith. Would you do me a favor and would you do the hand raising? And we're going to see Wendy was all the way at the bottom. She popped all the way up to the top. Wendy, you're awesome. Thank you. So what the raise the hand feature will do is you'll see I got a notice at the top that someone has raised their hand, and it will put people in order for which they raised their hand. So you can see Wendy was originally at the bottom. When she raised her hand, it bumped her up to the top of the list. If more people raise their hand, it would put them in the order in which they did that. Now, as an organizer, I can also lower the hand. So that gives you some controls there. Over here, you have your device settings. That's individual to your computer. Meeting notes. One of the things I want to point out with this is these are not personal meeting notes. These meeting notes are visible to everyone in the meeting. So just be aware of that, that they're not individual. The meeting details, that's just our time, date, things like that. Now, these are some of the new features that are rolling out. So gallery view is what we're in right now. Large gallery view is in preview. I don't have access to it, but the fact that it's there means it's coming really soon. And what that's going to be is it's going to be a 7x7 grid. So you'll be able to see 49 lovely little faces there. And then we have together mode. I am going to skip back to our presentation and give you a little more information about that before we, and I'll see if I can get any brave souls to do that. We're bouncing a little bit here today. So just to point out, here's the attendance report, just to let you know, under people, you can also have an Excel file or a CSV file as well. And meeting owners are the only ones that can do that. Together mode, wait till you check this out. This is going to be really a fun feature to have this fall.
Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork in Microsoft 365. It's one place where people can chat, share files, and work together. But now that video conferences are the new normal, there are times when people need to feel like they're in the same room. That's when you can turn on Together Mode. It puts your team in one shared space. Microsoft AI helps break down barriers, letting you communicate more naturally and feel more connected to your team. It works for coffee breaks, team meetings, or your next all hands. So from everyday get-togethers to important meetings, be together even when you're apart.
All right, so anybody feeling brave enough to try it? I know it's the afternoon, you've sat through many sessions. I'm going to turn it on just so you can see it. It'll put just my little lonely self in there if nobody joins me. But if anybody wants to pop in and try out Together Mode, let me know. So there, pop me in. Nobody else? Ah, you're disappointing. Oh, there we go. Hi. Oh, good. We got some brave souls. That's awesome. I have to tell you, I've only been presenting it for a short time because it's so new, but I love watching people's expressions when they get on it. So I can't wait for you to try this fall with students or maybe even your grade level, and check it out because it does uplift a little bit. You see everybody's a little lighter. They're a little more upbeat with it. So it just adds a little fun and spice to it. I can see, I'm going to switch back to our gallery mode. And I can see I think we might have a question. How? What do you mean by how? How can I help you with that? Oh, how do you get into, just turn your camera on would be how you could join the Together mode. That's all you'd have to do. So if I go back to Get Together mode, all you would have to do is enable your camera here. See, if I shut it off, then I disappear. And if I turn my camera back on, then I'm back. That's all the participants have to do is turn their camera on. So yeah, that's how you join. So thank you. That's a good question. So it's just that simple. So I'm going to shut that off and I'm going to go back to our gallery mode. I'm glad we were able to do that. So the other options you have over here are your background effects, turning on live caption. Background effects, they've really put out some fun stuff lately. You know, you've got your classics that you've probably seen around. I think I'm using this one today. But then they really, know that teachers are going to be using this. So they've even put it in Classroom, some other things, Minecraft. And you can add more. So don't feel limited to this. So there's really a lot you can do with that. Then down here, turn off incoming video. So what this means is that if you have a really bad signal, and I just showed you that video on together mode, what you can do if you feel like a presenter showing a video is going to knock you off, or it's going to disrupt your internet and your system just can't handle it for one reason or another. If you enable this, then you'll be able to participate in the entire team, the presentation, but it will not put the videos out to you and disrupt your bandwidth. So that's what that feature does. You have your video, you have your microphone, and then here is your presenting features. So when you present, one of the options you have is whiteboard. I'm going to just give you a little presenting tip. Right now, I like to present in desktop. And the reason I present in desktop versus a screen is I can bounce around without changing any of, I never had to go back into Teams and stop sharing a screen and pull up another screen. When I'm in desktop, I can bounce around and get anything that's on my computer. And then how I do PowerPoints, I'm giving you all my secrets today. How I do PowerPoints is I do the book. So normally when you're working in a PowerPoint, you see it in this version. Down here, you'll see reading mode. If I do that, it gives me a really nice, big, large screen. Oh, there's my music for my first one, sorry. It gives me a really nice, big, large screen, but I still have access to everything at the bottom. So those are just a little presenting tips that we've learned over, becoming more and more online. Up at the top of the screen too, if you're going to present videos in a Teams meeting, you want to make sure the audio is enabled. So above desktop, when you're sharing your screen, you'll see a little include audio, and you're going to want to do that. Whiteboard in TeamMeet, they are improving this all the time. Right now, what they've just upgraded to sticky notes, adding text and drag and drop capabilities. So the thought behind this is to make it more inclusive for people that do not have touch screens, so that you can still have all that functionality of inking, but you're going to do it with your mouse, you're going to do it with your trackpad. So it's really making it much more inclusive. So if we bounce back to our team meeting, here we are. I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to stop sharing my desktop for a minute, and I'm going to share a whiteboard to show you what it would look like. And when we share the whiteboard, it is going to create an individual whiteboard for everyone. Now, it works best when you're all in the same organization. Sometimes when I present and we're not all in the same organization, it doesn't work. But I'm going to just write in it just to give you an idea, or I'm going to try to write in it. And you can just write. It's an endless, so I can just keep going, and I can make as big of a screen as I need to. So it works best when you're all in the same organization, and it will open up an individual one for each person. I'm going to go back to presenting our desktop, and we'll stop presenting the whiteboard. So look for those new features. I just watched a interview with one of the engineers who works on whiteboard, and he said they're coming out with new features almost every 2 weeks right now. What they're trying to do is the desktop version of whiteboard has the most amount of templates and features, and they're trying to get all the different the browser version, the meetings version, and the desk app to have all the same ones. So they will eventually get there. If you see differences, those will eventually be worked out. So what I want to do is, so we've really taken a good look at everything in the Teams meeting. Do you have any questions about the Teams meeting before we move on? Okay, so then what we're going to do next is I'm going to take a little step back and give you an overview of Teams, and then we're going to look into launching a team and creating a team. So when we're in Teams and you're creating a team, you're going to have 4 choices. You're going to be able to create a class team, a professional learning community, staff, or other. So when you do a class team, that's really set up to have a main owner, and then everyone underneath that is a member, and the owner gets to control the rights and permissions of the members. In a professional learning group and community, everyone is equal owners, and that's really great for your PLTs and sharing files, sharing data, and working in great collaboration with staff. The staff one is meant for someone more administration who oversees a group of teachers or oversees a group of people, and they can document and write down about walkthroughs or different things. And then each, the main owner and then the people who are members, then there's semi-private spaces where they can work on PDPs, things like that. And then other is really customizable, and you can put anything you want. You can really tailor it to whatever your needs are. So those are the basic of the teams, and I want to show you how Omaha Public Schools are using Teams in their district.
Over the course of the last 4 years, Omaha Public Schools has been in a transformation mode. We really tried to look at what should happen in the classroom today. Many times what you saw was a lack of use of technology within the classroom, and what we're doing right now is really purposeful.
Children that are in school now have never lived in an era where there's not been technology right at their fingertips. So it just makes sense to reach them at that level.
I love walking into those classrooms to see how kids engage with technology. We talk about the 4 C's a lot. So it's communication, collaboration, critical thinking skills, and creativity. Teams really does all of them. It's highly collaborative because I have conversations more in real time, more informal, and more consistent. I have the ability to bring in apps that I would use, like OneNote. Then whenever you add video into the mix, I have real-time face-to-face happening. All those pieces together create an environment that you just don't see in anything today. Well, within Teams, there's instant feedback back to that student and collaboration between students within an environment that's safe and effective for classroom learning. That learning process extends well beyond the confines of a school. Learning can happen just about anywhere.
It's just a better way of communicating, because if you're not going to see somebody, you can still communicate with them even though they're not there.
Being a teacher, you never have all the answers, so it is nice to be able to collaborate with other team members, whether it be down the hallway, in another part of the building, or in another state. Using Teams is just an easy way to get more ideas on how to reach the kids in the classroom.
Teachers get a digital hub for classrooms and professional learning all in one area. There's a lot of power that can come out of that. First and foremost, you have to have amazing teachers. Secondly, I think you have to have great leadership. And then thirdly, I think you need opportunities. Whenever students have the opportunity to connect the dots, that's when learning is purposeful, because that's going to drive them to be who they can be.
So Teams really is that hub where you have your communication, your collaboration, and your content all in one place. And when we looked at the meeting section, you saw that communication, and you could see where we could add the content and the files and still have everything together. There's a couple different ways to access Teams. So you can access it from your start window if you have it downloaded on your device. You can access it from a Mac from the applications folder. I have it on my phone for my mobile device, and I love it. And one of the things I really like about downloading it on my phone is if I have to walk away from the desktop for a minute and a chat comes in or a phone call comes in, I can stay connected and choose to accept it, and still not, have that flexibility to walk away or get up and move. So it really is a nice aspect of having that mobility on your phone. So I'm going to show you today how to access it from office.com. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in office.com. Now, if you're ever in presentations with me, you will get tired of me saying office.com, because it really is where your entire Microsoft 365 suite is. If you do not have it downloaded on your device, if your students are on Chromebooks, this is the best way to access any of the Microsoft products. You do not have to have things downloaded to your computer. They can be accessed through here. What you need to do is when you first get to the office.com, it's going to ask you for your subscription, and really what that is your district email. So when your district subscribed to their plan, they linked all of your emails. So that's your identification. So using your school email is what's going to give you access to all of this. So if we go in here to our Teams, it will launch, and you're going to be inside my Teams today. You can see our meeting. This is how I joined our meeting today. This is I created all this stuff from here. I'm going to check our chat. Let's see if here is our chat that it will. So when we created our meeting today, it created a chat. So when you share video, does it share the sound? Zoom okay, so it's very tricky because when I'm presenting, I can't always show it to you. But yes, when you show video, it should show the sound. You guys should have been able to hear it. If you didn't, let me know. There is, let me see if it'll show you up here. Here we go. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a little button up here too, stop sharing your sound or stop presenting. So those controls even travel with me when I leave the team. So, but when I was sharing my screen, I click share computer sound, and that will do it. So let me just bounce back here let's start here with our teams. So these are all the teams that I belong to or have joined or have created. When you first join Teams, you're going to see this join or create a team. So you're going to come up here and you can create a team or you can join with a code. I'm going to show you where you create codes once we're in there. So if you create a team, you're going to choose between the class, the professional learning, staff, or other. We'll just choose class for today's sake. Then you can put in demo, whatever you want to give your name. You'll go to next. You're going to add your students. You can also add other teachers and make co-teachers. I'm going to skip that, and there we've created a team. You always kind of get this basic template that has a general, posts, files, class notebook, assignments, grades. Now, if we chose the professional learning community, we would have a PLC notebook. If we chose a staff, we would have a staff notebook. So it would customize it for you. I'm going to show you a team that I created, and I think it'll be a little easier to see some of the things that we're talking about. So before we actually get into all this, I want to show you how to manage a team. So as you can see here, I'm the owner for the team, and I have 9 guests. I can set them as owners, I can set them as members, I can set them as guests. So if they're outside of my organization, they're going to be guests, and they're going to have less permissions. So for over here, we have pending requests. Here are the channels associated with this that I can add more channels. I can keep them private, or I could show them to the members. And then the settings is where you really gain your control over how you want your members to interact with this. Here's where you can choose and pick your theme, and that's where you're going to get to pick a little icon, or you can upload an icon. Member permissions. So this is what I was talking about, where do you want your members to delete or restore channels? Do you want them to be able to upload custom apps? So this is where you're going to want to have that control and granting permissions. And then guest permissions, you can see, even have less rights. At mentions are if someone wants to make sure I see a post, or they're referring to me or talking to me, they can put an @ in my name in any of the posts, and I will get a special notification. Now here's that team code. So you saw we could create a team, or we can join a team, and we had to put a code in. Here's the code. So if you don't want to add all of your students, now some districts will do an auto generate, and some districts don't. Depends on how your district is using Teams. You can give this code to your students, and they can join the team on their own. Now the fun stuff, the GIFs, the stickers, the memes. Are you using them? Are you not using them? Do you want them on a strict mode? This is where you're going to, all that magic happens, where you get to have that control. Managing your class notebook and tags. Then you have some analytics. Analytics just shows you your users, your just overall activity, how many meetings, engagement, things along those lines. It's very basic, and it's not going to give you individual feedback about individual students. And then here are the apps that are associated with it. Insight, I'll show you that app. That's going to give you that individual activity level. So we'll look at that in a minute. So all of these were found under Manage Team. And this is what you're going to want to really go in and look at as you're setting up your team to get it just how you want it. Owners are the only ones that can add members. So you want to make sure that you have everything set properly. In general, you're going to, this is like, think of it like a huge bulletin board. Everything's going to get posted here. Pretty much the entire anything that gets done is going to get put here. Oh, I see a question. Let me bounce back over here. Added a team for classes. Oh, that's spectacular. Thanks, Wendy, for letting us know that. That's great information. All right, so if we go back to our teams, up top, I want to show you in general, this is where all your files are going to be for your team that you're working on. I mean, you can put them in certain places throughout, but this is going to give you an overall library. If you want stuff that is view only, and you don't want your, you want to put that all in class materials. If it's so that you can set that up. There is a teacher only section in class notebook, which I'm going to be doing notebook at the 2 o'clock hour. So I'm not going to touch that too much today, but there's some more private teacher work areas in the class notebook. But if you're in class materials, that's going to be view only. One of the great parts about what Microsoft did was when you upload a file, and I think it's even more important for the PLC team and the staff team, is that it actually uploads a copy. So your original stays intact on your device or wherever it was stored. And then that way, if you leave, your files go with you. If another staff member leaves, their files are staying, but they're taking their originals with them. So the other things that I think they do so well here is I can create new documents right here. I don't have to leave, go to Open Word, make a Word document, upload it to Teams. I can do all of that right here within Teams. Upload. I can upload files, folders, anything from my desktop. I can copy links, I can download, and then this, we really like to play nice with everybody. So we have SharePoint, Dropbox. You can even pull Google Docs. All of that is compatible with Teams. And then SharePoint, open up SharePoint. I know some districts like to share like district-wide documents through SharePoint, so you can access those too. Here's where you're going to access your class notebook. Again, stay with me for the 2 o'clock hour if you want to know more about that. It's just an awesome way to have collaboration space, but also be able to work one-on-one with students. It's amazing. So much is there. Let's take a look at assignments within Teams. So in assignments, you can see I have a couple assignments that are created. And let's look at this one. It is we can go in here and look at student view. So this is what the students are going to see. And they have a Henry and Mudge form that they're going to need to fill out. You can see, if you were with me earlier, Immersive Reader is built right in here. You don't even need to add it. Let's look at editing it. And that'll kind of show you how I set it up. So you give everything a title, directions, you can upload files. So I uploaded this form, you can set due dates, and then I can post to channels. I can post this to period 1, or I could post this to period 2 and set it specifically to those students. Let me just cancel that update. And then you also can export. Grades are over here, and then it will show you all the assignments that are listed, and it will show you student grades. You can also put up here, with this plus sign, you have the access to add any of these apps, Kahoots, Insights, WooCap is great, Clap for doing those thought bubbles, Word documents, YouTube. I mean, it goes on and on. So if there's something you're already using, awesome. It will most likely incorporate into Teams. So let me bump over. I've said Insights a couple times. I want to show you what that is. This is where you're going to get a little bit more of that individual feedback. It's going to pull the activity for all time, 30 days, 7 days, today, a specific day. It's going to show you, my students have not been active because it's a fake demo. But you'll get to see your students. You can look at their activity level. You can look at their average grade, assignments being turned on time. So this might be a great way to gather that information that you may have to turn in to districts. Any questions before I leave the assignments or grading part? All right, I want to go over here to show you how I have channels set up. So over here you can add channels. So I kind of did a lower elementary and an upper elementary. And so here you could see where I've posted an assignment to the kids. I've included a video for them. And what I love...
Hi, today I'm going to model
how to do an opinion writing. First, we're going to state. I made that with Powtoon. We don't need to listen to me give an opinion writing lesson, but there's a lot of fun things you can include. And one of the things that families were telling me when I was teaching online remote learning was they wanted everything in one place. They didn't want to have to go to one spot and go to another spot. And the nice part is you could see I was able to include all of that in there. We got a question, so I'm going to bounce back over. Is Teams integrated with Canvas? Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I was going to give you guys this at the end. I have a OneNote that I have made for you. I give it out for my presentations, and there is some Canvas integration with Teams. This is an interview. It's about 36 minutes, and it's with the Canvas team and Microsoft Teams. Right now, the best integration is with Team Meets. There's an actual button in Canvas that you can just assign a team meet. So take a look at that. There's some information here. I'm giving you this resource for today. It's in our resource section, and that should help with that. I know that they are constantly trying to do more and more together, so hopefully there'll be more integrations as time goes on. But check out that video. That'll give you a lot of answers to the integrations together. So you can see here I did with math, Khan Academy, Flipgrid was added in, with science. One of the fun things that I did was there was a little video for them to watch on who needs dirt, and then I included a poll. And after they watch that, do plants need soil? And then it will give real-time results right here for the students. So what I want to show you too before we leave this section is this is very similar to our chat where you can post things. So you have your format, it pulls it up larger, you can add a heading, then start your new title. If you need to make sure someone's attention is given, there it is. Here you can post to multiple channels. So right there, we've just got it in the science one right now, but I can select more channels, and I can go through. I can select channels from other teams. So if you've made other teams, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can post in multiple places. So who can reply? You can set those permissions. Then here you have a lot of your classic options that you would have in a Word document, so a few more on the side. And then you have attach, you have emojis, GIFs, stickers, Stream. If you're using Microsoft Stream, you can attach videos right from Stream to here, which is a really safe in-house way of sharing things. You can include checklists, polls, so many features that you can include in here, and then you just press your send. I want to kind of keep going because it's amazing how fast this hour goes. Teams is such a robust tool. If you are in office hours, you can set, so I was thinking of setting an office hours for students. I can do that right here. I can schedule a meeting. It's going to post it right to that channel. You see that there. I could have it be reoccurring weekly. And then when I send it, it will show up right here, and the kids will have that link, and they can just go back to that link again and again. Actually, let me do that for you so you can actually see it. So we're going to schedule a meeting. We're going to just call this demo, and we'll pick August. Let's just say August. We'll pick Saturday. I'll make it easy. And I'm going to press send. And then you're going to see that show up here. So all the kids have to do is click that link to then join the meeting. So again, everything's in one spot for them. I'm going to kind of move a little forward because we have about 10 minutes left. So this area over here is considered your collaboration space. It's where you're going to work with everyone. Okay. Oh, here we go. Wrong chat. If you have a few minutes, can you show off the new features list? Yes, I actually have it in the PowerPoint presentation. I will 100% do that for you. Okay, so here is the activities. So any team that I belong to, any team that I've created, if there is a post, I'm going to get a notice here. I'll get a little red dot saying, okay, you've got a new post. I just got welcome into MIE Expert, so I've been getting a lot of posts today from them. So you're going to see that. And let me show you too, we can just react to posts. So sometimes you don't always need to respond to something. So I can just give them a big thumbs up. I saw it, it was great. And then here are other options. If this is an important post, I want to save it, I can do that. I can copy it, I can translate it. I have Immersive Reader built in. It's all here for you. Always check those ellipses. They're always menu options. Chat. As you can see, we've been using that and I haven't left the meeting. This lights up even if you're in the meeting. So it's awesome because I'll be in meetings with coworkers and somebody new will show up in the meeting and they're like, oh, that's the board member, blah, blah, blah. And it's so great sometimes to have those little back and forths that to just know it's available. It can be shut off. I put some information about shutting chat off in that OneNote for resources for you. Admin can do that for you if you don't want chat available to your students. Again, these are all the teams we have. Any assignments I've either created or that have been assigned to me are going to show up here, and it will show you the status of that assignment. So I don't think we created any in the demo. That's right, we didn't do that. So if I did here, this one, I know we have assignments. It'll show the ones that are assigned, ones that are graded. Calendar, this is where we're going to schedule our meetings. So if we're going to schedule a meeting, we can do our title, who's coming to it. Once I schedule it, I can go in and set the options and the permissions for the entry. Here's where we can add the channel, repeating. And then once you save this, it will generate a meeting link that you, let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I go in here to our meeting later, this is our 2 o'clock meeting. You can see here it's generated that meeting link. There's the title for the 2 o'clock. I want it from 2 to 3. Does it repeat? No. And then I send this link out, and that's what's in today's presentation. So we're going to discarding changes. Calls. My district does not have, my tenant does not have this set up. If you have a keypad here, like a number keypad, your district does have it set up. But what that means is if you have the keypad, you can call outside your school. If you don't, it just means you can make calls within your group. Any files that I've worked on are all here. Here are all the apps that I have used recently, and this is where you can go shopping. This is where all the apps are available to you. The list goes on and on. There's a whole education section, Flipgrid, Quizlet, whatever you're using, check it out. You can add it in that plus section and tabs. And then my favorite section is the help section. They've done such a good job with this. If you are a list person and you want those step-by-step directions, go to topics. If you like those short little 1 minute, 2 minute videos, go over to training. And then what's new? Like last week, I saw this stuff pop up when I wanted to join a meeting. I was like, oh, where'd that come from? Well, if I go over to what's new, it'll explain exactly what it is. I'm going to jump back to our teams, our presentation. We went through that. There's also a weekly assignment summary email that you can have sent out for parents. This is an active link. It will give you admin direction on how to do that. Here are all the new releases that are coming out and the dates in which they are expected. So there is a lot coming your way. So many cool new things. I think you're going to really enjoy the new features coming out. So this is part of the PowerPoint. You have access to all of that. I just want to show you when you're entering a meeting, if your camera's off, this will be grayed out. This is how to choose your settings for behind you for background. If you want to choose your settings before your background before going into a meeting, turn your camera on, choose your background. You can even turn your camera back off, but when you turn your camera on in the meeting, it'll already use that pre-selected background. We talked about office.com, using your school email to enter. If you belong to the Microsoft Education Center, here is your code. I am going to get out of this mode so I can copy and paste that into the chat and make it easy for you all to get there. Let me put that in the chat for you. Oh, we got some new messages. Okay. There's the code for the Microsoft Education Center. If you are not familiar with the Microsoft Education Center, it is this awesome free resource for teachers. You just make a profile. Once you make a profile, you go under your picture. You can redeem your code, put that in there, and then you can start earning credits and badges. And let me show you what that looks like. So after you take 2 hours of coursework, which you've probably done today, if you've been with me, you will get your MIE certification badge. It will automatically be generated. So each 1 hour course is worth 500 points. How I like to use this, I go into courses and I just type whatever I'm interested in. Maybe you want something on Flipgrid, and it's going to show you Flipgrid and show you your options, and then it's going to suggest a few others. So that's a great resource for you. Let me go back here. I'll post that link in here. Oh, you don't need my profile. Here we go. I know I'm giving you guys a lot. I know we're coming up on the hour to finish. And then I'm going to show you, just to make sure you're aware, these are just through Microsoft. And then let me go back to the PowerPoint. Here are all the resources that we've talked about. I've got some quick start guides for you. And then there's new releases. This is the full article of all the information. The Microsoft information and resources, that's the OneNote that I showed you. And then I just want to give you from your conference today, they've asked us to show this information about CEUs, credits. I'm sure you've seen this at other presentations, our sponsors. So I'm going to bounce back. Is there anything I can help you with? I know I threw a lot at you guys today. It's a big tool. So just please, I'm going to put my email in. Feel free to reach out. Be happy to help with any questions you have. Achievement code did not work. Hang on a minute. Let me find out. If you wait, I want to make sure I saw that right. Let me put my email in and finish typing this. Jennifer Drury at usmie.com, and the achievement code does not match an existing training. Please check the code and try again. So that's what you saw. Okay, let me find out what's going on. And I have a training tracker that generated the code. I'm going to go right there and pull it directly from there and copy from there. Maybe I made a mistake when I was copying it. So the code is generated through this training tracker. So it let's team up August 6th. Here we go. I'm going to pull it from here. It should, if it does not match exactly to the coursework with if you've taken a Teams class with me and you're like, I've got this, it's so, I really understand this, then what you can always do is go in, just kind of review the material, and you can always take the quiz at the end and it will give you that specific badge. So if you're looking to gain a specific badge and not just have hours recognized or points recognized, then you can do that too. It doesn't force you at a certain pace to go through the curriculum. If you have taken coursework and you feel you understand that material, you can go right to the test. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad that worked now. Thank you for letting me know that. Wendy, you have your hand raised. Is there something I can help you with? You're welcome to unmute yourself.
That's from whenever you told me to join
All right.
together.
I will put your hand down for you. Oh, awesome. Terrific. Thank you. Just want to make sure I wasn't forgetting you. Anybody else I can help with? I will stay on for a couple minutes. I know we're a little bit over the time. If there's any questions, feel free to stay on. Feel free to email me later, but check out those resources. I'm going to put the bit.ly for the OneNote in here and get you a copy of that, just so it's easy. Everything's at your fingertips. All right. Thank you all so much for coming today. I'll stay on until about 5 of. You're welcome to go. I know you have more sessions to get to, but I want to make sure I get to anyone who needs it. So thanks again. I'm going to stop the recording now.